To talk more about how the 2026 roadmap for India is likely to turn out, we have identified those key areas for you. Let's now get in our top voice on the segment, which is Dr. C Rajamohan, someone who understands foreign policy very well and with whom we're going to decode what really lies ahead. Dr. Mohan, thanks much for speaking to us on India Sense. Let me start by asking you the 2026 foreign policy landscape for India. There are some concerns, there are some obstacles, and there are some opportunities. How do you see it?
In my view, the most important thing is going to be redoing India's trade relationships. 2025 has been a big disruption thanks to President Trump on the global trading system and India's own challenges that it faces because of the Trump tariffs. We've already seen in the 2025 India ramp up some of its free trade negotiations. So my sense is the focus would be internally more economic reform and externally how does India expand its trade relationships, how does India get more investments, how does India become part of the global supply chains. So I think geoeconomics would be a key element because without economics, the rest of the foreign policy will only get weaker.
You started with geoeconomics, and a corollary of that is semiconductors, artificial intelligence, rare earth minerals. Where do you see collaborations in all these spaces for India going forward?
We already seen, I think, India's semiconductor mission that was begun by the present government a couple of years ago is finally bearing fruit. So that's a very, very important component, strengthening India's position in the manufacture of semiconductors. India is already involved in the design of advanced semiconductors, but it's not been a force in the production of semiconductors. So that gap, I think, we're beginning to see filled. But I think India has a long way to go. So it's not going to be something that is done overnight. But I think the first steps have been taken. Second, I think, is in relation to creating shall we say, a system where India, the regulatory structure for the advancement of AI, the government has already issued some draft guidelines that are being looked at by the citizens, and there'll be commentary on that. Also, creating an appropriate regulatory environment. A third, I think, is really the question of how does the international rules play out, and I think the AI summit in February in Delhi will be a major occasion to see where the global rules are going and what India can do to shape those rules.
Okay. But I guess, away from that to the other big priority this year is going to be our neighborhood. There is volatility, whether you take Bangladesh, whether you take Nepal, you take the continuing turmoil in Pakistan. Navigating these choppy waters is going to be a key priority this year.
I think there's always this, worry that things are falling apart in the neighborhood. I mean, the neighborhood relationship, if you look at the last 80 years, it's always been up and down. If anyone can tell me there was a particular moment when we were in a golden age with the neighbors, all of the neighbors at the same time, that I would like to hear an answer for that. So I think it's always going to be up and down, sometimes good, sometimes bad. With Pakistan, of course, there's been more bad than good. But with other countries, we've seen phases of intense cooperation, intense engagement. My sense is one of the key areas of focus for 2026 will be how do we reset the relationship with Bangladesh. You've seen Foreign Minister Jaishankar was in Dhaka yesterday to attend the funeral of Khalida Zia, who passed away. And I think he met her son, who's likely the next Prime Minister of Bangladesh, to engage them. So my sense is, and you've seen the Prime Minister's letter that was released after Mr. Jaishankar's visit. That is our Prime Minister's letter to Mr. Rahman, who is the son of Khalida Zia. So I think we're sending out signals. India is ready to engage on a mutually beneficial basis.
So
if the election results go as expected, if the BNP becomes a leading power, I think we're going to see significant, hopefully significant opportunities to reset the relationship.
All right, this is a tough one, but any geopolitical headwinds that we should sort of be embracing ourselves for? I know there's uncertainty, but anything that you could predict?
I think if you can predict, of course, it's always easy. No one predicted, even on February 13th last year when Prime Minister Modi met President Trump, things would get down to this messy in terms of the trade relationship. But my sense is the global economic system is in a turmoil. So the question is, they can always be surprises, they can always be more turmoil. So therefore, I think being prepared for managing the global economic turmoil will be a key factor. Second, I think in our own neighborhood and in the Gulf, things are going downhill. We've seen recently the clashes between UAE and Saudi Arabia. We've seen mass protests in Iran taking place in the last few days. I think the Gulf and the Middle East, for all Trump's talk about peace process there, things are pretty unstable. And I think what happens in the Gulf, given the centrality of the Gulf in our neighborhood policy, their importance as an energy supplier, as a host to India's labor, things, so what happens in the Gulf will have a big bearing. In the East, I think the real challenge is China's military power is continuing to grow.
Yes.
China's economic rise, is now compounded by its military capabilities. And I think what China does in the region, particularly if Trump is eager to accommodate China,
Yes.
there can be surprises there if US and China come together.
All right. Life is about surprises, and let's see what 2026 lies ahead for us. Thanks much, Dr. C Rajamohan, for decoding that.